guys, you're welcome. My name is Bukumi Bikekran. So we're going to be checking out this video titled "Do Muslims Believe in the Virgin Birth of Jesus?" And the answer will be given to us by Shabir Ally. So let's watch.
Yeah, good evening, Shabir. I just wanted to question. In one of your statements, you questioned whether the disciples used the word virgin correctly, and if it wasn't a translation to fit, when one of the disciples claimed that Jesus was born of a virgin. But yet you concede that in the Quran it refers to Jesus being born of a virgin. So it seems to be a bit selective there. And secondly, what is the significance of the virgin birth? And thirdly, all the disciples that you say made up stories, all of them were prepared to die for Christ and suffered a martyr's death, with the exception of John. Can you respond to that, please?
The fact that Muslims believe that Jesus was born of a virgin does not necessitate also the belief that a certain passage was written prior to Jesus coming into the world and saying that he is going to be born of a virgin. They're two separate issues. So affirming the one does not require that we affirm the other, and it is very clear that biblical scholarship has questioned the other. They also question, some scholars do question the virgin birth, but Muslims do not have on that account any need to give up their belief in the virgin birth. Even though the Quran does not specifically say that Jesus was born of a virgin, the Quran simply seems to go along with the story as presented in the Gospel according to Luke on this particular score. Now, why would we then disbelieve the disciples of Jesus who wanted to die for what they believed? As Herbert Lockyer points out in his book, All of the Apostles of the Bible, in fact, we have very little factual information, though we have much legend about how and where the disciples of Jesus died. Start with the Gospel according to Luke and see how much information you find. Think about Luke saying Peter went off elsewhere. Where's elsewhere? Not the name of a place. It means that Peter goes away and we don't know where he went. Peter eventually drops out of the record and the whole story focuses on Paul. In fact, it soon becomes Pauline Christianity, and the original disciples of Jesus, in fact, get a short end. Some writings purport to be from the disciples of Jesus, but remember the principle of pseudonymity that I spoke about earlier. 2 Peter in the Bible is supposed to be from Peter. It says so. This is Peter writing. But scholars today, and even ancient Christian scholars, believe that this second letter of Peter is not really from Peter. It is a pseudonymous writing written by somebody else using the name of Peter in order to lend authority to his writing. So we have materials which purport to be from the original disciples of Jesus, but which are questionable. In fact, we do not have a firm record showing that all of the disciples of Jesus actually died believing or died for the belief that Jesus actually rose from the dead. The precise details of their death and the beliefs that they held at the time of their death are not fully recorded for us in history, though we have much legend about it.
Yeah, I think you've raised a good question about Jesus being born of a virgin. It's something that's agreed by Christians and Muslims, and it's something that's totally unique. There is no other human being, no one in the biblical record, and no one since who's been born of a virgin, and it marks Jesus out as different, as unique. And the New Testament is clear that the reason for the virgin birth was that when the Word of God decided to take human flesh and walk amongst us, he did it in a special way, and he did it in an appropriate way. And
To follow up quickly on the significance of the virgin birth, in the Islamic faith, it is generally understood that God can create in a wide variety of ways. He creates most of us in the normal way from two parents, but he created Adam from no parent and Eve from one person, and Jesus from also one person. In the case of Eve, from a man, and in the case of Jesus, from a woman. So most people from a man and a woman, one person from a man, and and another person from a woman, and God can demonstrate his ability to create in all of these ways. Notice, however, that the idea of the virgin birth being tagged on to the theology of Jesus being somehow divine is a later sort of concept, because the Christian belief that Jesus is God does not mean that he became God through the virgin birth. It means that he was God from all of eternity. In that case, if God is going to come down into the world, he doesn't have to come through the womb of a mother. He could actually descend from the skies, or by whatever means. He can pop out from the middle of the earth. He can do a number of things. But why particularly the virgin birth? There's no particular connection here, except to show that God is powerful and he can create in a wide variety of ways.
We could have the next question by this brother here.
Wow, very short and explanatory. He spoke about Peter. We didn't hear about Peter anymore, apart from Paul. Most of the disciples, after the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, we didn't hear about them anymore. So he made point of that. He answered that question, and he also spoke about the Virgin Mary. They believe that Jesus only has a mother, he does not have a father, and I really enjoy his explanation. So they believe in the virgin birth of Jesus, and this was beautiful to watch. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button for more. Like, share, and comment. I'll see you in the next one.